Hey guys, Huzz here. Now today I'm bringing you a Syndra guide, and firstly I'll say Syndra is one of my favourite champions in game. She also hosts one of the favourite skins of mine in game, which is Justicar, which I'll show in a minute. Now Syndra is one of the hardest mids to play, but she is also one of the most rewarding. Now there's a big debate on Syndra Muramana versus Zerath's Embrace, which I will go over in this guide. Now this guide will cover such things as masteries, runes, general gameplay, team fight ability, burst versus sustain, and just general items. Now I hope this guide will help you, and I hope this guide will make you, maybe a better Syndra player, but at least just, giving you a bit more advice on Syndra and maybe learning something along the way. Now I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe and all that type of thing, and remember, keep playing League of Legends.
The masteries of Syndra is fairly basic. I always go standard 2190. I have seen people that do 2109 or even more in utility. Myself personally, I prefer the 21 in offense because I believe Syndra is a pretty damn good burst mage. Even if you go sustain, you can still do hella damage in just a single nuke. So yeah, it's just a standard page, obviously taking the ignite, taking the CDR, the ability into the ignoring magic resist, having 2% more increased damage. I always take Spell Sword, normally on every single AP, just gives you a little bit more poke and that helps you CS a little bit easier. Get the AP here, a bit more AP again, and helps you with your nuke. Now, this is a pretty good ability for Syndra, because generally you use your ult on a lowish target anyway. It's not always the case, but yeah, it helps you burst them down. Then going into defense, you take the health, because I just like getting a little bit more tanky. Syndra is a pretty squishy champion, so that will generally help her a bit more in lane. And then these two I swap around depending what I'm against. Now if I'm against an AD, I'll have 3 points in here, and I might not have any points in here. I might put 1 in the health regen. But this is my standard. If I'm just against a normal AP in mid, this is the page I would go. Okay, runes for Syndra. Standard again, like I go standard mastery page and I kind of go standard AP page on her. AP Quints, mana penetration reds, mana regen yellows, which will help her sustain in lane, and flat MR blues. Now these will help her against a lane opponent that, because Syndra is a squishy champion, it will help her survive a bit more. Now I pretty much run this page against every single AP in the game. The only other rune page I would use on Syndra is against an AD. Now this is the rune page I would use. Now it runs basically more or less the same things. It has mana penetration reds, AP flat quints, it has armor yellows, which obviously you need if you're going against an AD like Zed or Kha'Zix. You just need that a bit more sustain. Obviously you'd go probably an early Zhonya's as well, just to survive a bit easier. But then I've got also mana resist per level blues. Now you could change this depending if you have enough rune pages. Obviously you can see I've got 12, where if I pick up a bit more, if I find I don't need one of these rune pages, I'd probably make another one which would replace these mana resist per level to either flat AP or AP per level. Basically I have this just in case the AP or jungler, just in case the enemy, has an AP jungler or top, so I do have a bit of MR. But if they have no MR, if they're just a flat AD team, then this page wouldn't be amazing because the MR gives me nothing. It would be better to have AP there. But these are my rune pages for Syndra.
Now here's some just general gameplay of playing Syndra. I'm against an Annie, and she's become a little bit more popular now, like here and there since Prolly's played her. And obviously I just burst the Annie with Ignite and managed to get a nice easy kill on her. Now that's something Syndra can do. She obviously can burst anything. At level 6 she is the highest burst, I believe, of AP of any in the game. As you can see from my items, I don't have any AP at this point. I only have Tear of the Goddess. So you can imagine when I actually get items, my burst is going to go up a lot more. Now here you see me putting a ward down in the bush relatively near the enemy blue buff, but then I see a roaming opportunity bottom. The enemy bottom lane is overextended somewhat, and it's enabled, my jungler to come in and funnel them to our tri-bush. So I come in, pick up 1 kill on the Zyra, use my on Caitlyn and pick it up with the Q. Now obviously I did miss stun there, but relatively it was an easy double kill for myself, and that's just giving me a nice gold lead coming into back to mid lane where there's 3 enemies. Okay, another clip where I'm just pressuring the Annie, just poking her as much as I can. You can see her turret is basically 1 hit from death. And it's basically with an Annie, obviously she can just flash Tibbers you and burst you straight down. So that's basically what she's trying to do now. She's looking for a flash. She flashes, I flash, just to try and get not the initial burst on. Now I was trying to stun her there, but the ball just disappeared. She just Tibbers on me there. A DFG, using my ult, and she's dead. pretty good burst from Syndra. Obviously, if you look at my items now, I've got basically the same as before, but I've got DFG with Tear of the Goddess boots and a couple of health potions. Now, I was going to base at this point, but I see an opportunity near their red, where my top and jungler are fighting their top and jungler. At the moment, they're coming out on top, but Aurelia is really low. The Garen, obviously, with his ult, can probably burst her down. There's the Garen ult. Stun him up. Pick up the kill. Well, our jungler gets the kill, but I helped secure it. So another good thing with Syndra is, making her stun work. Now here's 2v1 situation. I stun the Annie just before she uses Tibbers. This means her Tibbers lands basically just next to her. So that's a pretty good play by me, and that's something you always can do in Syndra. While running away, I keep stunning them, or keep hitting them with Q, and then for some reason the Shyvana decides to try and go on me. Nuke her down, and then it just leaves the Annie. Now at this point I'm relatively fed, being 6-1-1. Obviously my DFG and ult is down, but I'm still feeling confident that I can pressure the Annie as she used Tibbers. Push up my lane, but then I see an opportunity bottom lane. Hopefully I'm thinking they don't have any wards in their jungle, as I can just slip behind them. And as the Zyra on the minimap, you can see she's going out to ward. My bot lane instantly reacts to this, going on the Caitlyn. They nuke her down, and then basically they give me a present. She's really low now, so I hit the stun on her and finish her off with a W. So there's pretty good play on Syndra and this general gameplay. Now this argument has been going on for ages. What should you do? Blah 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 blah. Now I'm just going to clear things up a little bit. Now if you want to go for burst, then Muramana is your item. If you want to go for sustain, then Zeraph's Embrace is your item. Now I'm just going to go over a little bit of the math, not hugely, just these little calculations here. Now starting with Zeraph's Embrace. If Syndra has around 2,000 mana, Zeraph's Embrace will give her 60 AP. Obviously, she could have a little bit more, a little bit less mana, but that's the mana I'm going to work around. Now, the base damage of her ultimate at 5 orbs at max rank is 900 with an AP ratio of 1 AP. And if she has around 470 AP, around this, mid to late game of whatever game it is, and then you plus the 60 AP from Zeraph's, that means her ult in total with 5 orbs will be doing 1430 damage, which is pretty good. It's more so than, most APs in the game with their ultimates. But now if you look at Muramana, same calculation, obviously taking off the 60 AP that she doesn't get from Zeraph's Embrace, that means the ult would do 1370 damage. But with Muramana triggered on, if you look at the calculations, it would mean that the whole damage in total with her ult and Muramana procced would be 2500. Now, obviously this is not taking much resistance into account, mana penetration, etc. These are just the pure calculations of what damage would, what would it do. As you can see, it's 1,000 damage ahead going Muramana. This is why I play Burst Syndra, as you can burst anything in the game. If their tank is not going MR, if they're going more armor, you can burst their tank down, you can burst their AD carry down, no problem. This is why I simply play Burst Syndra. Okay, in all the footage I have of me playing Syndra and just general footage, I don't actually have a proper team fight playing Syndra, but I can explain with a bit of gameplay going through. Now in Syndra, if you're going burst, even if you're going sustain, you can generally take down their AD carry or AP carry if you've done well, generally. As you can see, I'm 150 CS and 2-0 in this game, so I've done fairly well. Now, my positioning in this isn't amazing, I get knocked back, but then immediately I can burst down the AP carry Gragas. I get kicked out of the fight, which is lucky for me, because I should have died there, and we managed to pick them off nice and safely. Now in a team fight for Syndra, as I was saying, just pick off the carries. You don't really want to use your full burst onto a tank, you can just simply poke them with Q and W and E. Obviously you have your amazing stun that once you've used your ultimate on a carry or whatever you've used on, you can throw E into the whole team if they're lined up, which could stun all 5 of them potentially. It's unique to Syndra to have that amount of damage with all of her spells, but then have the potential to stun a whole team. Obviously, it does take quite some luck, kind of skill to try and land all of the balls on all 5 of the team. But I have done it, many times in the past where they've just simply stacked up and all my balls have just gone through them all and stunned them up. Now, this is my build on Syndra. Now, everybody has their own personal builds, but this is mine and this is my opinion and this is what I'm telling you guys. Now, my starting items, I always get a Fairy Charm, then a mixture of potions, and then a Vision Ward. Now, these starting items can change potentially. You'll get a different mixture of potions. Sometimes I go 3-3, so 3 health potions, 3 mana potions. Sometimes I go 4 mana 4 health potions, 2 mana, that type of thing. Now you can go cloth 5 against if you're against an AD and you're not feeling very comfortable. Now your core items for Syndra is Tear of the Goddess, Sorcerer Boots, and DFG. These will give you just general, pretty good damage early on. You should be looking to have at least these 3 by, minimum or maximum, about 16 to 20 minutes. That's the kind of time, and that's maximum. From there, your end game items, this is full out. DFG, Deathcap, Void Staff, Mirror Mana, Sorcerer Boots, Leander's Torment. Now, if you ask what order do I build this in, it's very, relative to how well I'm doing in the game. Normally, I'd go the core items always first, so I'd get the Tear, then the Sorcerer Boots, and the DFG. And then, depending how well I'm doing, if I'm doing really well, then I'll go into the Deathcap. If I'm not doing so great, I'd either go to the Void Staff or the Leander's Torment. And yeah, there's situational items as well that you can replace the Void Staff and the Leander's Torment with. If you find yourself getting bursted or getting dove on by, say, if they have a Vi or something along them lines, get Azonia's Hourglass for the 2.5 seconds immunity, and obviously get one if you get an AD in lane. Now, you also can get a Rylaze if you just want the general slow, if you're a chasing team, or you just generally want a bit more health. And you can also get the Abyssal if you've actually lost lane or their comp is a double AP. It will help your team with the resistance aura, and it'll help yourself surviving a bit longer. Now, as I said, this is just generally my opinion on Syndra, and I found this working for me the most. Obviously, everybody's going to have their own opinion, but this is mine. I'd just like to leave you guys just some general tips for Syndra I may not have covered. Obviously, when you have tier bought, use your abilities to farm the tier up, use your ult for high priority targets, and don't be in the front line of your team so you can secure the ult with the maximum balls on their enemy carries. Just like to say thank you for watching, guys. Please sub, like, and all that type of thing. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you'll be able to use this while you're playing Syndra. Now remember, keep playing League of Legends.